Well, hello. So today we are making, I think, a full-on spring orecchiette. It's a pasta. I love this pasta because it has all these wonderful little nooks that it hold a really good sauce. So to make this full-on spring, full-on bright and fresh and delicious, we're doing a pea pesto sauce. It is gonna be so green. It's gonna be so delicious. We're also doing it with asparagus, prosciutto. It's gonna have so many wonderful flavors that I think it's just something really exciting because anytime there's spring flavors, I'm totally ready. So asparagus is one of my favorites. If you buy it in a grocery store, a lot of times why you see people break it where it breaks or have to cut off the ends is because when it goes through shipping and transporting, it's gonna start drying out the bottoms and then they get kind of dry, they get woody, and so they're not maybe, as good to eat. If you're getting it from the garden, you don't have to cut off the bottoms, which is wonderful. So what I'm doing with this is I'm gonna cut it in kind of bite-sized pieces, and you can kind of judge whatever you think a bite-sized piece is. I like to make them big enough that you see what you're eating, you see what's in there, because guess what? This is a spring pasta. This is something I want people to see. I want them to know how delicious it is, how much flavor there is. So for this, I'm gonna not do a lot of oil because I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do just a quick drizzle. We're gonna kind of just push that together, spread them out. It's not a lot of asparagus, just enough. Then we're gonna put some prosciutto over the top of the asparagus. And the reason we're doing that is because prosciutto is kind of like a bacon, think of it as, but it's not the same. But as it kind of cooks in the oven and crisps up, which is what we want, it's gonna actually render out some of the fats that are in it. Some of that juice kind of will come out and go on top and mix with the asparagus, help it roast, give it some flavor. Because the asparagus I want just to get crisp tender. I want it to maintain that good structure, still be delicious. And what's funny about this is we're kind of deconstructing what a kind of classic appetizer is, where you wrap prosciutto around asparagus, you roast them until they're just done, and you get these delicious flavors of crisp prosciutto with kind of that crisp, tender asparagus. So we're kind of doing that idea, but we're doing it in a completely different way that I think just kind of makes this pasta extra good. So I'm gonna throw this in the oven. We're gonna have it roast up. We're just gonna have it cook just enough. What's great about this pasta, it's super quick. So as that's in the oven roasting, we can start with our pasta. So I have my water boiling on the stove, and what I think is important with any time you're gonna make a pasta is, you hear this all the time, and I know it probably seems come on, but you really need to salt that water. You want it, because this is the only thing, that salt does not get absorbed all by the pasta, but it flavors the pasta. And it's the only time that you're gonna have this opportunity to flavor the pasta. So I'm gonna pour this in here. I'm gonna let that come back to a boil. This is the best. This is the best part of this. I think pasta is something that can be so quick, so weeknight, and that's what's wonderful about it. You can come home from work, you can get everything ready, you can have a delicious meal that goes together so quickly, and that's what I love. So, for this, I said, what is it? A pea pesto pasta. I know, say that fast. I can't do it. What I love about peas is, in the spring, they are delicious, they are fresh. But the best part about peas is, you can get the best peas year-round in the frozen section. They IQR these, which means they individually quick freeze, IQF, sorry, and they make them so they pick them at peak freshness. They have all their flavor, that sweetness of the pea that is just so delicious and tender. And then they're frozen, so they're ready all the time. That's what I love. So even if you're not making this in the spring, this is good any time. So to make this, I do want to just heat these up slightly. And I'm gonna try to make it simple. You can do it in the microwave if you would really want to. I like to just put them down in a little strainer. I like to just set them down into my cooking water, which is already cooking. I'm just gonna run them around a little bit, heat them up until they're warm, and then we're gonna make the sauce. So the peas just took a minute or 2 minutes in that hot water, and then they are completely, look at them, they're that bright green, they're beautiful. So what we're doing to make this super easy is we're taking peas, and we are taking prepared pesto. So if you haven't followed me along, or if you haven't seen this video, one of my favorite things to do is, in the summer when I have so much basil, I make lots of pesto and I store it in the freezer. I put it in little ball jars, and I just like to have it ready to go, so it isn't something you have to make fresh all the time, and it really does keep well. And that's what I love about it. Do you watch your pasta, as I just did? It sometimes wants to boil over, guys, and you know what? No one wants to clean that stove from boiled over pasta. So we have like kind of a sauce that's gonna be ready to go together. We have the pesto that's prepared. You can pick your favorite one. I, of course, love to make my homemade pesto, but pesto is for pasta a lot of times. So I'm gonna just now immersion blend this together. I know it seems a little bit like, Caleb, really? Yeah, really. We're just gonna put it together. Look at that beautiful color you're instantly getting. So look how simple, delicious, and flavorful the sauce is. I mean, the pesto is really doing all the work. The peas are just kind of getting a free ride because they're sweet, they're delicious. Guys, if you could smell this, you get the Parmesan in there, that basil. Okay, so our sauce is pretty much ready. Our pasta is cooking. The prosciutto and asparagus are in the oven. This is gonna come together in minutes here, and we're gonna stir it, and you're gonna see how delicious this is. I can't wait for you to make this. The pasta finished. What I did was, I have a strainer attachment on mine, and I pulled it out, and I reserved about a little over a cup of the pasta water just to be safe. And then I only cook a pasta till al dente, so it has just a little bit of toothiness to it, which is exactly what you want, because you don't want it to get too overdone, and then it won't really absorb the sauce. So I have it cooked where it will now hopefully absorb some of the sauce. So I have it just over a very low heat, and I'm gonna add in this delicious sauce that we've prepared. So it has the pea in it. It has, that sounds gross when you say it like that. It has the peas in it, that delicious pesto. I'm gonna stir that in, and you can see right away that it needs just a little bit of liquid. And again, this kind of always depends how that pasta's cooking, but what it's gonna do is slowly finish cooking. Look at that, and it's really coating the pasta. It's clinging to all those nooks. It couldn't smell better in here than this. This is just, to me, that perfect, very low heat, just adding a little bit of water every so often, stirring that water in just to make sure, oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Oh guys, that smells, you can't go wrong with that smell. We're gonna bring it over here. We're gonna finish it all up. It's a winner. So I'm bringing the pasta over. I just stirred it for about a minute there on the stove to make sure it was really absorbing all that sauce, to see if it needed any extra water. I mean, look at that beautiful pasta. You get that bright green color. You get, guys, oh, that smell. So what I wanna do to really make this bright, make it pop, kind of bring out all those flavors, add a little bit of fresh lemon zest. I think that just kind of wakes everything up. It really kind of lends well with the peas, and it just kind of makes everything pop. And that's what I exactly think is important when you're having a pasta, is you kind of want that finishing touch just to kind of wake it up. It kind of just like, it plays with your tongue a little bit with all the taste buds. It's like it says like, hello. And that's what lemon does. It just is delicious. So now too, I think we need a little bit of Parmesan. There's of course Parmesan in the pesto. You could do a dairy-free pesto if you're, not going on dairy, but oh, if you are, and you can do some real Parmesan, which smells amazing right now. I'm gonna put in, we have these delicious asparagus, and see what they did was, they cooked actually in the oils of that prosciutto. So they got even more flavor. And prosciutto has that, it just has that great. And what I love is, you can even, like, so if you want to, you can kind of just, you can see how it crumbles up, and you can just toss that in with the pasta. You could also just lay a couple pieces on top, and you can kind of do whatever you want. So if you want to, you can add the prosciutto right to it. And I think it kind of goes either way. It's a personal preference. If you're having people over and you want to make it more of like a, like a special occasion, maybe you're trying to impress someone, maybe you're just trying to impress yourself, which I think is totally important. Don't ever downplay that. I think we should eat however we want to every evening. And if it makes you happy to like go the extra step, put the candles on, put that tablecloth on, guys, look at, oh, if that doesn't smell good, I'm gonna get a plate because I'm gonna try this. It's my duty. I need to make sure it's good. So we have the pasta. You see the asparagus in there. You get that delicious, oh, look at that. Now, okay. So there are a few things here you could do. Obviously you could put more, you could do more Parmesan on top. I always like to take some fresh basil if you have it, if you can find it. Just tear little bits on top. If you cut it, it can brown a little bit quicker. Not that if you're gonna eat it right away, it's totally fine. But just kind of getting some big pieces of it in shards. And see what I mean here? If you would want to and you would want to serve it, you kind of just like lay a piece of prosciutto on it. It's a restaurant at home, you guys, and yes, that's always worth it. I wanna get a piece of that asparagus. Mmm. 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 What I love is you get that instant hit of that pesto. So the basil, but it has like a sweetness and you taste the peas in it, and that's what I love. The asparagus to me is just like that fun component. It has texture. It has kind of that crisp, tender, where you still get the flavor and the freshness of the asparagus, but that raw edge is taken off, so you still get that tenderness in it. And then the prosciutto, I mean, I don't know if I really, let me take one for the team. Oh, the prosciutto's nice. What I love is it has that saltiness to it. So we didn't over-season the asparagus because you got the prosciutto, you got the oils that came and actually flavored it. Guys, this is a winner. You get like spring in a pasta, which is what you want. It's comforting, but it also has a lot of good, healthy elements to it that are just delicious. So I hope you make it. I hope you try it. Most of all, I hope you share this video around. When you share these videos, of course it helps me, but it also helps so many people out there to see how fun, easy, simple, delicious food can be. Whether it's a weeknight, a weekend, you can make a delicious meal and have fun with it. So check my website, wiseguide.com, for this recipe, so many other recipes in the description of this video. As always, have fun, be happy, be kind, and make something delicious. That's the important thing, right?